Hi, I'm Pantazi. Today I wanted to talk to you about Kyusho involved in all different martial arts. You see that it's growing just by the sheer number of people doing Kyusho on YouTube, talking about it in all the social media. It's spreading like wildfire, like I said it was going to. In fact, you can't contain it. It's like Pandora's box. It's already open, okay? People are starting to pick up on it and experiment for themselves, and then they understand that if one small target on, say, the arm does something, then they start exploring more. So it just feeds upon itself. But here's the thing. We could all be individual, or we could all work as a collective, all right? As a collective, by being in an organization that has a clear-cut and defined stepped logical progression in a curriculum, testing requirements, and skill training sessions all around the world, that's going to only benefit everybody. All right, instead of just working with yourself or in your own particular school or on our own particular style, getting out there and working with people with different talents and different skills and different martial arts, and seeing how they adapt their Kyusho into their particular skills. And that's what our conventions do. It brings together martial artists from every different type of skill, and they each trade their information and ideas on how to adapt the Kyusho toward them and their style. And by learning that from them and they learning from you in your particular style, then it just feeds upon itself. True mixed martial arts, all right? Because we're training with everybody and working on different concepts. So joining an international organization and taking part in the camaraderie, the research, the investigation, the skill attainment is going to work incredibly for anybody that's interested in really getting ahead on this Kyusho thing. Now, you can take a point at a time and work it into your style and gain some skill. Yeah, sure, no doubt about it. But you will grow exponentially if you tie into a larger body of Kyusho practitioners, especially, again, if they're studying so many different martial arts. Let's face it, an elbow is an elbow, but they apply it different in different arts. You might not have thought of one of their applications, and they might not have thought of one of your applications. They might have thought of a target selection that you chose for that elbow, and you didn't, and they didn't think of the one that you came up with. So it's a win-win all the way around. Yes, you're practicing the targeting of the human body. You're practicing the dysfunction of the human body via the weaker anatomical structures inside the body, taking advantage of a human's physiology and functionality, but at the same time you're training in all different martial arts at the same time. It's just really exciting. And the conventions that we have, the seminars we have, brings in a general array of people in the public sector, and they're bringing in their martial arts, whether it be Tai Chi, Muay Thai, MMA styles. We work with everybody, grapplers, Bagua practitioners. They all work together because, let's face it, we only have one human body, and we only have a select number of vulnerable targets or more vulnerable targets on that human body. How to get to those in higher stress situations, that's the goal, okay? And if your Kyusho is only doing one technique at a time, you're not really involving the stress, the adrenaline, the fatigue, and the many different things like working on, having to work on tactical sensations and gaining leverage on the targets through tactile approach rather than being able to see it, because if you're at night, sometimes you're not going to see the target. If your eyes are, you've got sweat in your eyes or blood in your eyes, or someone finger jabbed you in the eye, you're going to have to develop that tactile sense. Working with all this information, the shutdown of the auditory system, the auditory occlusion that comes with high stress and adrenaline, as well as the tunnel vision just mentioned. There's so many factors, and if you're not practicing that as such, then you're missing a big component, because anybody can hit a standing target, as so many have pointed out in the past, even though we don't train like that. But hitting it in a real conflict and real stress, with real conditions, like wearing a pair of shoes and jeans and coats, and out in the cold where you're wearing gloves or your hands are jammed down in your pockets, things like this, and you have to work with it, or on a staircase, in an elevator, on a slick ice patch out on the street, in gravel, on sand. If you haven't worked with your Kyusho in these environments and under these stress levels that can come up in a real situation, then you're not really getting the true scope of Kyusho. And so many people say you can't use that in a real fight, and that's hogwash, because so many people have. I've already mentioned I've had 3 altercations. Worked just fine. Okay, I've heard from hundreds of people around the world. They write me letters. Their instructors tell me the stories. They're using it. We have law enforcement agents all around the world working this on perpetrators under the influence of alcohol, narcotics, you name it. They're gaining much more leverage without damaging the individuals, just using their own tactics, but involving the targets of Kyusho, as opposed to going muscle on muscle and trying to outstrength them, trying to outnumber them. The leverage of Kyusho is remarkable, and you should put it into your martial art, but also don't limit it to your martial art. Go out and experience more. And we offer a set curriculum that's practiced in about 72 countries, and it's all over the world. So you can find someone that does Kyusho, or you can hook up with it on an online program to see the targets, the applications, and then infuse it into your martial art. Okay, I suggest you keep it as a separate class. That's another situation, another topic for another day. You don't want to bring it into your regular classes, and there's many reasons for that. I made that mistake a long time ago and since corrected it. And then get to the international seminars, where you got people from all different countries with all different styles utilizing the Kyusho. That's where you're going to really grow. Think about it. Okay.